Okay. So since this is like your UI, this is your interface, is the words that you use. You notice that in a lot of the rooms in Death House, there is no like read this specific thing to the players. They use that
No.
very sparingly, right? So that
Yes.
that tells you that when they give it to you, it's very important for some reason. So, what does this say? The woods are quiet this night, and the air grows chill. Your fire sputters as a low mist gathers around the edges of your camp, growing closer as the night wears on. By morning, the fog hangs thick in the air, turning the trees around you into gray ghosts. Then you notice these aren't the same trees that surrounded you the night before. What's interesting from a design perspective, from what we've talked about with encounter design, non combat encounter design up till now, that you think might be. What's interesting about this, do you think? Coming from the perspective of not just reading it now, but having played it. Like, how did you experience? What did you do? How did you feel when you made the decision of what to do?
Um, a little uneasy, I guess. Like I said, good mood setter. I can't even remember what decisions we ended up making.
I think I just went walking because yes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think you guys started. I
So
think you guys started split
We
up.
obviously we had to walk. We had to. I guess that's what we did. I don't remember any specifics.
well, what does this text do? What does it
Tells you
establish about the
something.
scenario that matters to you as a
Tells
player?
you something that happened around you, and we noticed it, so we wanted to explore to check it out and some or see if there was somebody there
Well, there are
making it
Well,
happen.
yeah, there are three sentences, right? Sentence one. What does sentence one establish?
um, it might establish that there aren't any guys around, but or bad guys. But what it I think that I guess it made us play more cautiously, but that specific sentence didn't really mean anything. That sounds weird to say,
It
but
made
it
it
could have
so
been.
it was nighttime, so it was
Yeah, the
dark, and so
timing.
we knew the time and stuff of the day.
I guess
And
technically
has
this
that.
is the first two sentences that I have highlighted.
It's at the time and like the condition of the weather or something like that.
So, yeah, for sentence one, briefly set the scene. We have one sentence of just setting, right? One sentence. That's it.
Mhm.
Sentence two.
Fire process. Fire process. The
Your fire sputters a low mist gathers around the edge of your camp, growing closer at the night wears on.
What's
is
this
that
establishing?
it's the
It's
mood.
telling it's set in the mood for like the temp.
It does help
It tells you
this.
the temper. It does tell you the temperature is getting colder, maybe.
Low mist gathers around the edges of your camp, growing closer as the night. Why does it matter that it's growing closer as the night wears on?
Because it's going to tell you like, oh shoot, something's coming.
There's like some. There's
Yeah,
something
it
happening.
maybe inspires some urgency.
They're starting to set the stage for tone beyond just setting, right? They're starting to set to say they're starting to suggest urgency is maybe too strong of a word, but they're starting to suggest certainly at
Something.
least certainly at least make you feel not great about staying still. And then the next two sentences go on to, well, the next sentence sets up the final sentence. So the next two sentences are about and likening the trees to ghosts, which obviously is very spooky. Then you notice these aren't the same trees that surrounded you the night before. So now something has happened, right? Something has happened to you now.
We
So-
got transported somewheres.
Yeah, something has happened. This mist has done something, presumably, and now you're in a new place. So it feels like an event, right? Because the environment has changed. And it's similar to one of my early examples about you're just in a plane, what do you do? It's not quite that broad, but they leave it kind of broad so that you have something, so that you have a sense of agency. But in the book, and the interesting thing about what the book itself says is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what direction they go. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter at all. Doesn't matter at all.
Does not
What
matter.
matters is you do a thing. And then when the players do a thing, they find something. Right? So the book is just saying, like, give the players some impetus to act. Then when they act, have things happen. So it starts very, very broad and very, very vague and very straightforward. Anything you do drives everything forward. So that doing something gets rewarded. It's the exact same thing as what we talked about with Amnesia, except the response is different. In Amnesia, we kind of punished the player for trying to progress. But in this game, we want to make a very simple relationship about doing things and acting in the space that you're in. And just first thing we do, we tell you that there's something you can do, then you do something, and then you get rewarded for it. You get rewarded for doing something. If they wanted to reward you for doing something specific, this part of this sentence would not exist. It would not say no matter which direction they go. There would be a specific thing. But in this case, what's being rewarded? The doing of a thing. Do a thing. Now, the reason this gets interesting is because now we have some DM stuff. Did you guys do the little boy and little girl?
Yeah.
I remember. I don't think we talked to them. I think we just kind of got a
literally
bad
just
feeling.
ignored
They
them.
literally just
We
ignored
got-
them and just continue.
We got
on.
a bad feeling and didn't engage.
But you got
That's what
this narration.
Yes.
Yeah.
The gravel road leads to a village. It's tall houses, dark as tombstones. Nestled among those solemn dwellings are a handful of closed-up shops. Even the tavern is shut tight. A soft whimpering draws your eye toward a pair of children standing in the middle of an otherwise lifeless street. So all of the tonal context that you've gotten so far makes it so that it's very likely that you find this very creepy. But this ends on what? A soft whimpering draws your eye toward a pair of children standing in the middle of an otherwise lifeless street. Why does the narration end there? Why does it use that as the end of its narration?
Because they want you to
The rest
go
is-
talk to the kids.
The rest is up to us. If it said you go talk to them, then that'd be kind of
Right.
forcing us into that situation.
These narrative elements are written in such a way as to they're structured so that they give you some context and then a prompt. They essentially always end with a prompt for action. And now things are a little bit more specific. From a DM's perspective, here's the children, and if the characters approach the children or call out to them, you can do a thing. You can learn some things if you question them.
They do not.
Otherwise, but this is the thing: is clearly the designers went. This is a decision point. You make the decision whether you want to talk to these children. Whereas, right, this is very important contrast from the opening. This is not a decision point. This is no matter which direction they go. Right? There's no decision here. Just do a thing and get rewarded. Now we have a decision. Do you want to talk to the children? And so now we need to make sure that that decision is vindicated, not necessarily in that it's the right decision, but in that it feels like that decision is driving the events forward. So what we have now is that's it. You just skip all this part about the children. And this is how D&D modules are designed. There are parts in the module that will just get skipped or left by the wayside. That's normal. So what happened after you got this prompt to talk to the children? Remember, this also goes back to how what you decide not to do colors the story of your experience, not the story of the game, not like the narrative of the game, but the story of your experience. We did this and this happened to us and then we did this. But in terms of how the decisions that you make, but also in terms of the things that you know you could have done, but elected not to do. So in this case, you're prompted to talk to the children. You decided not to talk to the children. And based on your responses, clearly, your decision not to talk to the children is an identifier for how it feels to you as the people who have been playing in this game. We did not do that. And it's possible that you could have, and there's just stuff you missed as a result. There are also dangers that you may have avoided as a result. You don't know. And that's part of what characterizes how that decision feels. So after you talked to the children, or didn't talk to the children, what did you do? What happened next?
They went to the house, towards the house, with the children pointing.
Proceeded over to the house, opened the gate, and went up. And then we started kind of exploring around, like outside the house first, before we went inside.
Okay. So you went up,
Uh,
And then when
trying
we
to
were while we
check
stayed
things.
outside there for a while, the fog kept getting closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get this entrance, a wrought iron gate, that entrance.
Mm-hmm.
So now it starts to get much more open. It opens up now a bit. So there has been really one decision point. Think about this structurally in terms of decision points. It opens with a little encounter where the encounter is the forest or the woods change. They're different now. We don't notice they don't really get into detail. They don't like describe the trees and then they describe the fog rolling in and then they describe different trees. That leaves some room for ambiguity that you really don't want in this case, and it's not very concise, it's not very efficient. It's the important thing is that you notice that the trees are different than they were. And that prompts you to do something. But in this case, we don't really care what you do. We just care that you do something. Then the children represent the first actual decision point, right? Then after the decision point of the children, you approach the entrance, the wrought iron gate. But the gate is locked. Why is the gate locked? Oh, it's unlocked. Why is the gate unlocked?
It's inviting us in. It's encouraging us to go in. Not forcing, though. We are invited to go into the death house, which sounds super awesome.
Uh-huh. Yeah, actually, it is worth noting that when running this, typically you would tell your players we're running Death House. That's like a normal thing. So your players know that it's called Death House.
Yeah.
Like, that's not irrelevant information, right? Yeah, and then you have, of course, the rusty hinges thing. But there's also nothing stopping you from going around. And in fact, the game very much... Oops, this is Velaki. The game very much allows for it, right? They have a front view. They have rooms in the house. It says what's around the side of the house somewhere. I don't know where it is in the book, but I know it does. So you guys went around the house, right? You went around the outside first, right?
Yes.
What did you find?
Garden, tombstone, beehives, I believe they were. That's what they were.
I was just.
Found nothing. That's
I
what
don't think we found anything.
There was nothing really out. Like
Interesting.
outside the.
Why would there not be much? There are descriptions in the book that talk about what things are like outside from the perspective of being inside. There are rooms that tell you like what you see if you look up the windows and so forth. There's also a map up here that gives you a really high level view. This is Vallaki though. I don't remember where or Barovia rather.
I think if you there's another map if you go all the way down. I think.
Yeah, there's the Death
Yeah,
House,
that one,
the
okay.
actual Death House map. So you have that. Anyway,
I found like one better map. I just found it online.
oh well, I guess. So the thing is, there are some descriptions about the outside, but they're not. There's not a bunch to interact with around there, right?
No.
Yeah, no.
So why would we do that? Why would the designers do that?
Encourage you to go inside the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's nothing to do out there, what are you gonna do? Leave.
Yeah.
But
You know what was funny is when I knocked on the door just openly, and I was like, "Yeah, this is a horror movie."
It doesn't seem right. It feels like something's about to pull out and just link me.
yeah, well, yeah. It is Death House.
Yeah.
It is the legend of the Death House. So
You even get the big painted portraits flanking the entrance.
Yeah.
So
I think it was in the
nothing.
second floor.
This is okay. Let me actually take this opportunity to do a quick. Oh, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do a tangent.
ooh, tangent time.
Oh, there is a frame. Oh, never mind.
Can we hurry this up? Photoshop, please. Thank you. All right. This one's
Excuse me.
a little bit different. Who knows anything about behavioral psychology?
I had a behavioral psychology class in high school. I mean, it's still high school, but I don't think the teacher was an idiot or anything. It was good. It just wasn't like very in depth. I mean, how in depth is a high school class?
Do you remember B.F. Skinner and operant conditioning?
Skinner?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah, B.F. Skinner, operant conditioning.
I believe so.
All right. So the way that this basically works, and Skinner dealt with rats. This is where the term Skinner box comes from. It's his box of rats. So the way that this works is all behaviors have what's called an extinction rate.
Question before we continue. What is that app that you're using for this?
This is just Photoshop.
Photoshop.
This Photoshop.
Just Photoshop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Photoshop subscription is hella expensive, so you know I'm not hopping on that.
Do it this way.
It costs stuff to use Photoshop? Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
anything
Photoshop. I mean,
from Adobe, you have to pay subscription.
I didn't even like it that much. You know, if you want to, Adobe, what is it? What's their editing software? Adobe Premiere. If you
There's
really
like
want
a-
a good, if you
yeah,
really
there's
want a
Premiere
good
and
editing,
Premiere.
what?
There's like a bunch of editing software, but if you're talking about like video editing, yeah, it'll be Premiere.
Yeah, well, Premiere isn't even that good. I mean,
That's
if you're
not
just
true.
doing,
The thing
no,
about
wait,
Adobe
hold
is
on, hold on.
Adobe has a whole bunch of horrible things that everybody hates about them, and their prices have gone up insanely, and their subscription services are really obnoxious, and everybody hates them for good reason, for all those reasons. And yet, all of their software is still industry standard in basically every domain that they're in because it's the best software.
Okay, hold
Yeah.
on. I know, I get it. Yeah, Adobe's the best, but is it the best by 100,000 miles? Especially if you're just trying to do like some small work for yourself. Absolutely not. CapCut is really good just for a single person use trying to do some small things. Don't even bother with Premiere. It's so bad. I hate it so much.
I use DaVinci. If anyone has DaVinci, DaVinci's good.
Anyone still on
Okay.
Sony Vegas?
So-
Okay, let's get back to
There's what's called all behaviors have what's called an extinction rate. An extinction rate is just a description of a phenomenon that I think everybody knows full well, at least in some intuitive way. I can illustrate very quickly what this is. If I give you a button and you press the button
Press it. Oh.
and a dollar pops out, what's the next thing you do immediately?
press
Spam
the
it.
button again.
You press the button again. Now no dollar comes out. What do you do?
Hit it again.
Press it again.
You press
I'm
it
gonna see if
again.
it was-
Still no dollar. What do you do?
Spam it as quick
Look-
as possible.
Damn
Okay,
it.
you
I would
spam
look
it
to
for
see.
you press, you press the button, press, still no dollar, still no dollar, still no dollar.
I would try to look for some sort of. Yeah, I'm not gonna press it again, but I'm gonna see if there's some sort of chamber that's been loaded. Like, can I see? Is there anything around that I can look at or not?
Press the button. It like gets lower and lower for pressing the button, probably.
I probably just leave. Maybe I press it really hard out of anger, like when you're in a game or something, even though it doesn't do anything. I probably give up. I mean, I don't know what else is in the room, so I can't say much more.
If you're just asking us what we think we would do if that was the case, I'd probably like within maybe like 5 presses after that, I'd probably stop because I know that it wasn't gonna.
So this is
Even
basically
more.
how operant conditioning works. When you press the button and get a dollar, the likelihood that you will repeat that behavior goes up. For each attempt at the behavior with no reward, the likelihood that you repeat that behavior starts to drop until
Mhm.
eventually it reaches 0. That's essentially what an extinction rate is. It just describes that phenomenon.
Mhm.
So, if you want players to not do something, literally, all you need to do is to make sure that they don't get anything out of it at all. Another example here is now we even remove haptic feedback from the equation. It's not even a button. And you'll see people do this all the time. Like if you've ever had a situation where like something wasn't working and then you like shook it out of frustration and then it started working and you have this moment where like did shaking it fix it? That's the sensation of that behavior being reinforced because you think it fixed the thing. You might later find out that it did not at all do that thing. This is how superstitions form. People who
They do one thing before a sports match, and then they win, and they think it was
Yeah.
connected.
Yeah, this is how irrational connections like that can be formed. Now, this gets quite complicated. There are different styles of reinforcement and different schedules of reinforcement, and the different schedules of reinforcement affect the extinction rate in various ways. For example, if you press the button and a dollar comes out, and you press the button and a dollar comes out, and you press the button and the dollar comes out, then if you're getting a dollar every time you press the button, the likelihood that you're going to press the button again is very, 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 very high. However, as soon as that pattern ends, and you have to press the button, and you press the button once and no dollar comes out, the longer that pattern goes on, the more likely it is that you're only going to try to press the button 1 or maybe 2 more times before you conclude that there's no more dollars. The rate of extinction, because it was a fixed ratio reinforcement, that being it occurred every single time or every n number of times, in this case every single time, we have like this, right? The likelihood that you continue the behavior is basically 100%. Like, it's just like maximum that it's going to be. But once the reinforcement stops, the extinction rate looks like this. It plummets very quickly. Whereas if you have a more interval, a different interval, so for example, like, you press the button and a dollar comes out. You press the button again, no dollar comes out. You press the button a second time, no dollar comes out. You press the button a third time, and a dollar comes out. You're like, oh. Okay. Then you press the button again, no dollar comes out. Press the button again, dollar comes out. Okay. Then we can start expanding that to, like, now it's every 6 button presses. And then we can get to the point, we can build up that up very quickly to the point where it's anywhere between 1 and 200 button presses, the dollar will come out. And what that does, if we then stop reducing it, that means it'll take at minimum 200 button presses for the extinction, for the behavior to become extinct, right? So we have this much slower extinction rate already. But because the pattern is more complex, it's not just every time I press the button a dollar comes out, it's sometimes it takes 10, sometimes it takes 57, sometimes it takes 130, sometimes it takes 190 or 200, sometimes it takes 2. Because of that, you actually don't know, in terms of like your subconscious desire and the connection that you're making on a subconscious level, because you're not like super confident in the pattern because it's not as simple. What happens is there's this possibility that maybe it's every 300 button presses now. It's gone up before, so it could go up again, right? So the extinction rate isn't just 200 button presses before you just stop. Now you have this extremely like slow off the page. It's going to take a long time of not having that behavior reinforced at all before you finally just stop doing it. So the style of reinforcement fundamentally changes the extinction rate of the behavior, which changes how long the behavior will persist. Now, B.F. Skinner is the guy credited for sort of inventing this or inventing the models to describe this. And he used rats in a box, which is where the famous term Skinner box comes from. But the really big revelation was the idea that this works exactly as well on human beings as it does on any other species.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the exact same process. It's not like the same, but with a few little changes. It's identical. The only difference is that it might take a little bit more complex of a pattern to really trip you up because your brain is a little bit more complicated than a rat's, but really not that much more complicated when it comes to operant conditioning, because this is really operating on like a level of your amygdala. This is really tickling that back of your brain, subconscious lizard brain type stuff. This isn't like higher order prefrontal cortex reasoning. So the interesting thing is it works really, really well. And if you got into it, if we got into like economy design. We could talk about how you can get people to buy things, but we can also talk about how we get people to explore. We can also talk about how we get people to keep doing things that are very difficult or keep running up against problems, even if the larger goal continues to not be accomplished, by making sure they're getting lots of little goals in the meantime, so that they're constantly reinforced for the inputs that they're getting. This is also, by the way, why it's very important to have good gameplay feedback. So let me quickly illustrate that point before I end this tangent. If we have say we have a start screen, like a splash screen, and it just says game name, and then there's like a start text down here, and it's we'll call it a PC mouse or PC keyboard mouse control. So there's a cursor. What's the first thing you do? Well, you click the start text, right? That's the obvious thing. Now, what'll happen is, in most games, you're gonna hover you'll have something like this. Specify. There, you have something like this, right? Cursor is not on the start screen. It's not on the start text. Nothing happens. Cursor hovers the start text. What happens? You get these little things that pop up, right? Or like the text highlights or something. Then what? You click it, and then you get like an effect.
Right.
Why do you think this is relevant to operant conditioning?
It could, if players were to meet other UI in the future, hovering over a highlighted option would show that it's usable and not just flavor text. Because nothing happens when you hover over a game name, and that's text.
Right. Why does nothing happen when you hover over game name?
Because you get no reward or anything for clicking it.
Totally not reinforced, so it feels like it's not interactable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Totally different. It's a totally... Now imagine we had this very same start text, except it didn't hover the mouse. The mouse didn't... there was no like highlight effect on mouse over, and there's no right mouse button down effect. Click to activate effect. There's just nothing. It would work, but the whole process would feel really janky, right? It would feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
So what makes it feel good? Well, my behavior of hovering over the start text is rewarded. And then my behavior of clicking the start text is rewarded. And this sounds stupid to even bother to say out loud, but when your behavior is rewarded, it feels good.
No. What?
So when when you break it down in that way, it sounds stupid to even say, and yet.
Sorry if I missed anything. I just had to go do something there. I had to just spit out some phlegm.
And yet. And yet. So many games do this thing where they don't have all of those stages of feedback, or they make the mistake of assuming that they're not that important, and that's why their games don't feel good, because you're not rewarding all of the behavior, and you're not rewarding the right behavior. Now, this is the last point I want to make real quick, which is also obvious, very obvious. Now imagine the start button just didn't take you out of the menu.
So it's not a
Yeah,
start button.
I would be kind of mad if it did
This is-
that.
Just doesn't function. It just doesn't function at all. There's no feedback to it. It's just basically you just are on a flat still image.
That would suck. Is there, and there's nothing else on the screen?
Yeah.
It'd be broken.
And-
It'd be a busted
Right.
system.
So you could have. The reason this is a bit of a tangent is because I'm shifting from operant conditioning to talking a little bit about the importance of gameplay feedback. You could have the most brilliantly made piece of fine, beautiful, life-changing art of a game on the other end of the start screen. And it means literally nothing because nobody understands how to open the damn thing. That's the last point I wanted to make during this tangent, was just to point out like that's important. It's really important to have all of this feedback stuff going. And it does kind of go back to operant conditioning. So that's why, to bring it back to Death House, that is why going around the house and not getting anything makes you just not do that anymore. But it didn't feel particularly bad. Right? Imagine you got punished for going over here instead. Imagine you go around the side of the house and there's a graveyard, and then out of the grave crawls some high-level zombie who just insta-murders you. You have no chance against it. You just get punished for going outside. Now how do you feel?
Like it was unfair. I was cheated.
Yeah.
Oh, my freedom was taken away.
Yeah, now you feel like you're not allowed to make decisions.
No decisions for you, Smite.
So it's very important. It's very important to understand one of the really important takeaways from understanding operant conditioning and how it affects all of game design in a really broad sense is just understanding that you don't need a heavy hand in most cases, where you just need to not give anybody anything, and they'll just stop. Which is, in terms of D&D, one of the things you have to be careful about is not accidentally giving players what they think is important information. So there's like some communication stuff there, but that applies in a lot of in games otherwise anyway, because you still have to worry about, like, you know, if you're playing a game and you have a sound effect that makes it seem like you can interact with something, but you're not supposed to be able to interact with it, and then the player kind of gets stuck on a puzzle, and this looks interactable. I've seen people do this in games like Divinity a lot, where there's like a puzzle and they can't figure out the puzzle, but since in the game like Divinity Original Sin, like most of the environment is interactable, they start just picking stuff up. They start just like looking in every jar and moving the jars around and stacking boxes on top because they don't know what to do, but they're getting these little bits of reinforcement from moving all these objects and interacting with all these objects. So it's sometimes valuable to have fewer interactable things in the environment, because you want the players, if you want the players who are stuck, in this example, to go against the environment and then get nothing back. Because if they get nothing back, they're going to stop interacting with the environment. You don't want them to be going down the wrong path. There's no solution down this path. So we don't reinforce you going down it at all. That's why we don't give you a hover over effect on the main menu title screen on the game name text, because we don't want you to interact with it. So we don't give you any reinforcement at all. So it never feels like you could or should in any way. But the start text does have that feedback. So it's so obvious and intuitive to do that. So you just do that. Oh, wow, that was easy. But like as a designer, you kind of need to understand that relationship between those things. Like, why does the player care about this thing but not this thing? Now in D&D, it's the same thing. You're just worried. It's just about what you say, rather than, does it hover? Does it highlight on hover over? Okay. So you went around the house, didn't find anything. Finally went in the wrought iron gate, which is unlocked. What did you do after you entered?
Oh yeah, we're still talking about that.
They found a sword.
I knocked on the door and the door just swung right open.
Yeah.
And then we explored all of that downstairs.
What room did you go into in the downstairs? What was
It was, I think it was the
I
very
think one of them would be-
first room. What's this? The first floor?
It's like the main hallway.
Main hall.
main hall? Okay.
They explored the main hall, then a wolves, kitchen, and pantry.
I got a sword from it.
Yeah.
A good example of operant conditioning at play.
Then we explored the fireplace. If I remember correctly, where the fireplace was. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where
Yeah,
the lawn sword was. And I
So-
grabbed it,
was
and now I have a
the main
lawn sword for a weapon.
So let's all right. When you were doing this, can you identify kind of how it felt to make the decisions that you made? For example, when you say you explored the main hall, what did that look like?
Me looking over at the place, saw a sword and went, "Ooh, shiny, grab."
There was stuff on the walls that they could inspect, but um, I don't think any of them inspected it anyway.
I explored the main hall. I more so explored the kitchen just to see a thing in there that I could find, and then
Sure.
I explored the fireplace and got a heavy crossbow from that. So
Then there was the room that was down at the bottom of the map. I don't know what area that was. It was a hunting lounge, I think it was called. Hunter's
yeah,
Lounge.
that's where I got that's where I got the heavy crossbow.
It's called the Dens of Wolves. That's where it was. There was like cabinets they could interact with, and one of them had like a lockbox. Which they had to pick lock it, which I think.
Funny enough,
We
we
built
weren't
that.
able to get that open. I was somehow managed to get it open by brute
Brute
force.
force.
Because it wouldn't open with the thing because we failed our checks. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try forcing it open. It worked.
This is the thing. So this is why I wanted you to play Death House, is because you generate all of these like moments that you feel a sense of. You feel kind of almost a sense of ownership over like your experience of having done this thing, right? It feels very much like I did this thing, right? That's the feeling of agency that you really want to try to capture with D&D encounters. That's really what you want in there. But crucially, if you actually look at Death House, at the text of it, every location is quite specific, but very little of it needs to really be stated out loud.
Yeah.
And it goes to great lengths to make sure that there's feedback from the environment, right? So if a player does a thing and doesn't really get much feedback for it, in the context of D&D even, they don't just learn not to do that thing. If that pattern persists across many things, and this is the danger of getting too specific, right? If you, like, as a DM, you go, this is the one specific thing I want my players to do, then you run the risk of they don't do that thing. They try to do a different thing because they don't know what the thing is. So they try something else and it doesn't work. So they try something else and it doesn't work. So they try something else and it doesn't work. So they try something else and it doesn't work. And it becomes the same as going around the house and finding out there's nothing there. They don't just learn that thing didn't work. They start to learn the more meta pattern of trying things doesn't work. And then they stop caring. And they stop doing things. They stop making any kinds of decisions. So the trick when designing D&D is to find a sweet spot between giving them some freedom and making sure that there's a lot of feedback for good player agency, a lot of good feedback for player agency. But also making sure that it never feels like they're doing like the one thing that they're supposed to do. Even if the thing that they can do is the things that they can do are actually pretty limited in reality. So the way most D&D scenarios, like larger adventures, handle that is they have maps. And they go, this is this room, this is this room. And then they just design the rooms such that holistically they create like a narrative that unfolds over time. Where did you find your combat encounter?
Second.
Right as
second-
It was,
at the
it was
stairs.
on the third floor.
The third
Third floor.
floor.
Yeah, it
Like,
was on the
yeah,
third
basically as
floor
soon as we
when
got to the
Shadow
third
Combat
floor, I
came
think,
out.
Okay, so that would be
We ended
the
up fighting a
balcony. It's called
is that the
balcony.
armor?
armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
Yeah.
think it was the armor, yeah.
That
I
thing
think it's
hurt.
I think it's called the balcony or something. It should be
That
on
thing
top.
hurt.
Balcony.
Here's the I want the stat block. Oh, it's just a living armor. What is it called?
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Balcony.
Animated
Animated
armor.
armor.
I just looked it up.
Yeah. So this book makes reference to just an actual thing that exists in the D&D monster manual.
Oh, it looks
Um,
way different than what I thought it was.
Feels that's accurate considering its aggression.
Oh, I had a different one.
Different stat block or different art?
Art, I think. I mean, I think it's,
This
there's
is the
same
intended.
stats.
This is the intended stat block.
Yeah.
Armor class 18. That's the first thing. That's the biggest thing
Yep.
about this. 18 is a really high AC. And 33
Yeah, that's
HP,
kinda nice.
is kind of high for a
What?
level 2 party, level 1 party. But it doesn't do very much damage, and it only gets 2 attacks per round, which means you guys are making twice as many attacks. So it's a CR1. Challenge rating 1. Which means it's actually a roughly appropriate challenge for for level 1 players.
They
That's
started
for
at
level 1 players?
Yeah.
and they struggled.
Damn, man. And we struggled at level 2.
I think that thing hated me. 'Cause-
But also, let's talk a little bit about why they would use an animated armor. Now, obviously, there are thematic elements in terms of like, okay, it's an animated armor in this creepy old mansion, so there's kind of like a sort of like a trope of that. Fine. But what about this creature works well in a horror-oriented adventure like this?
Spooky armor moves without anybody on the inside of it. That's why.
Well, there's thematic. It's thematically appropriate.
It's a scene for realizing that there's some other things that could be in here that aren't, that shouldn't.
It
Yeah.
it's something where you might see the armor, you might have the armor described to you. You might not, but you might have the armor described to you, and then it attacks you, and that could be like a bit of a jump scare almost.
And then you might be wary of other armor sets in the building.
Yeah, and now you're a lot more environmentally aware, in a way of being cautious, which is similar to what we were talking about with Amnesia, how we kind of get players to be cautious.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else in this stat block that stands out to you in a way that might be a little bit in combat might be worrisome?
Multi-attack.
Okay, it takes its turn and it hits twice. It attacks twice. That can be a little bit scary.
Immunities.
Yeah, the immunities and damage immunities. Or
Conditioned immunities can be scary if you try to I mean, if you're a low level party, you're probably not petrifying it, but if you try to blind it or poison it, sure.
and I don't know. Is that? I feel like he had a weakness too. It says right there in the anti-magic.
Yes, I doubt any players are ever going to be able to create
No.
an anti-magic field at level 1.
No,
But it
no, no,
is,
no.
yeah, you can trivialize it that way.
Constant online.
What
Dispel.
did anybody at any point make an attack roll against this creature, roll something relatively high, like a 15, 16, 17, and miss?
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
Would you say that's kind of a scary moment?
Definitely.
Yeah.
A little bit. It was like
little bit.
yeah. I
Because you only have a
remember
+4 to hit, right?
Right.
Which means you got to roll a 14 or a higher to even hit the thing.
Yeah, I was scared for them.
It can be a tough fight. The rolls can go against you very easily. Did it ever occur to you guys to run away from it at all?
I tried to, but if I
put-
did,
I was at a disadvantage, so I put distance, but I still stayed in the fight.
I think Keaton and Tristan just stayed and tried to fight, but
we stayed and fought, but I wanted to try and run. But I would have done an attack of opportunity on me.
I did give them an option to disengage if they wanted to.
Yeah, you can do that. You can disengage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was it had a really high AC. Yeah, that was really
Mhm.
a lot of them were missing.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough fight.
Yeah.
And it's the first combat encounter you really see in Death House.
Yeah, it was the first encounter, guys.
So it kind of sets the tone, right?
Like, oh no, this is going to be actually difficult.
Yeah, so imagine the first fight in Death House was some like pretty simple little guy.
Fully on.
Imagine it's some like 12 AC guy with like you kill him and it's like very difficult. How does that change how you interact with Death House moving forward?
Cautiously more.
Be more cautious of the enemy.
You're
That might
likely
be.
to be a lot more cautious because what have you learned from this first encounter? 1, combat is very dangerous. And 2, it can come from out of nowhere because it's like a living animated armor that sort of popped out of nowhere at you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would that be counted as an ambush encounter? Or would that mean I would just go instantly first?
Probably not.
This
They would have to be caught pretty much completely by surprise. you can think about initiative in terms of like if something starts to attack you, even if you're not expecting it to attack you, your
Safe.
ability to respond to that is essentially your initiative. So it just determines like who goes first. Surprise encounter is something more like somebody successfully sneaks up behind you and tries to stab you from behind, and you don't even know they're there until they stab you.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah. So when we're thinking about again, this is like a structural thing for the game design. We have the surprise, the fact that it was a bit of a surprise, not mechanically, but it was kind of came out of nowhere, and the fact that it was fairly difficult means that you're far more likely to be a lot more cautious after that. Imagine, like, if I think back at how you described finding the longsword and the crossbow in the fireplace, imagine you had had this encounter, then went into that room with this longsword in the fireplace. You might have still explored, but there would have been an additional element of caution, right? You would have had to be very careful about, like, you're not gonna just like walk right up to it and take it. This is mine
Yeah.
now. Because stuff will just attack you. You've learned that now. So it's actually a really, really important part in establishing, like if you're trying to run something in horror, it's really important because there's a certain degree to which you can set the tone and describe, the cold fog or whatever. But if you don't have elements like this, and players never become cautious because the game has made them understand that it's important to be cautious, then you're never really going to create a horror game, which this is of course trying to be. So how that encounter like fits into the larger play experience structurally is very, very important. And the way that this encounter is designed is equally important in that. If it doesn't have super high AC, it's a little bit worse at accomplishing that. If it dies in one hit, it's much worse at accomplishing that. If it doesn't have any attacks, it's much worse at accomplishing that. It needs to be a genuine threat, and it needs to always be a genuine threat, pretty much irrespective of how the rolls play out. In terms of like, if the first person who fights it just like rolls high and hits it, and it just dies in one hit, it's not scary at all. So we want to avoid that. But at the same time, we need to make it like an encounter that players can succeed at doing. Yeah. But also you can't always do something like, we're going to give it like a special thing on round 1 so that it has like a shield, because then it feels cheap. Right? If you just have a mechanic that just says you have to wait a turn before you can do anything. There's another way that you can do this, by the way. If you want to make players a bit more cautious, you make them cautious in a slightly different way. Traps. Because traps aren't encounters, or traps aren't a combat. The trap just happens. So it's like a one-round thing. It is kind of like that now, and it doesn't feel cheap because it's a trap. It makes people a little bit more cautious also.
See.
So, Death House is pretty good. It's pretty solid.
Pretty good.
Solidly made little adventure. Does a pretty good job of nailing the main thing that it needs to. It does get much more involved in terms of the lore of the location later on, but you really get the crux of how it does what it does in those first few encounters. So, if you were to design an encounter again now, what lessons would you take from Death House that you think you could apply to your own work in designing a D&D encounter?
I would definitely try to go for a clear idea. My last D&D encounter was plant themed, but that's not really gameplay. It was just kind of throwing stuff at a wall, and people had fun with it. But I think they had fun with it because they're on a call with people that they enjoy playing a game with, not that the encounter itself was very well thought out or interesting. I didn't have an idea, and D&D encounters are supposed to have ideas they're supposed to convey.
Yeah, I think the plant theme is fine. The thing is, inspiration can come from literally anywhere. It doesn't matter at all. Plants, fine. But then, yeah, you need to. Okay, what would plants do? How would plants feel to fight? How do I want to convey that theme? Maybe they have. I don't know what's plant like. You could just do some word association from that and start figuring out what the game mechanics would be like. How would it feel to fight these plants?
Mm-hmm.
The idea. There's nothing wrong with the idea there, but yeah, making sure it all matches up and aligns. And the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take the non-combat encounters and the combat encounters, which we still need to do, which we'll do on Friday, and put them together and start thinking about this kind of thing, this like larger context design. I suppose we could do it today. You know what? Maybe we'll do it today, and then we'll do a combat encounter today. And then
I
we'll,
thought we were going to be doing that today because
yeah, that makes
because
no
of
difference. We can do it
because of
today.
this, but
Well, game design and game mechanics are kind of companions, so they get interchanged. We can just do it today. It doesn't really matter. But the next thing we're going to be doing, the next thing we're going to be doing is figuring out how to doing this kind of thing, where we figure out non-combat encounters, combat encounters, and then putting them together in a larger context where they work together cohesively in the same way that this animated armor kind of sets the stage for a more horror-esque environment. One possibility, by the way, is to create a very heroic environment where it feels much more like you're overcoming crazy challenges as like big brave heroes rather than constantly being up against the wall because everything is so dangerous all the time.
spooky.
Yeah, it would be like almost the opposite experience. And what you're going to do, you're like at either this Friday or next week, depending on where we get, we're going to start thinking about a larger project with that. And it's going to be like a big, longer term, 2 or 3 or 4 weeks worth of putting together a D&D encounter, a D&D adventure, a little mini adventure in D&D. Similar to the way Death House works. Probably not that big, but where it really encompasses like multiple different elements. Combat encounters, non-combat encounters, some story stuff. It all we're putting it all together. But yeah, I think that's fine. We can do the combat encounter today, and we can do more games, whatever this is, on Friday. That's fine. We can do that. Sure.
Okay.
You want to run your encounter? Run your encounter. Let's go.
Should we join a Roll20 room?
Yeah.
Just if you're making a new room, post the
I
link.
have one
Grab-
made for this.
Oh, perfect.
I can do mine right now. I just need to figure out how to post said link so I can be able to do this. Give it to you guys.
Yep.
I think I have everything ready for my
That's how, there we
encounter.
go.
Well, whoever wants to run an encounter, throw the link in, and we'll do it.
Here we go. I got mine. Just trying to find where the link thing was. I was like, where is it?
I just gotta do something real quick.
Am I allowed to like make my own special abilities for the monsters? Right?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
You're complicating things in a way that
isn't that
might
technically called homebrewing?
be unnecessary, but it's a design is a design.
Should be doing. So now erase this. Then skip those two. Yep. Should be fine.
I love how I see like just saw for a split second the fish face, and then disappear again. It's
Right? This is
when
not right.
you joined mine, I saw like a split second of just the fish face, and then suddenly you disappeared. I'm like, oh, it's gone again.
All right, how do I send my link?
Let's see.
Too
Did
late.
you already send it?
No, I haven't yet.
Oh,
This is my link.
Where'd you put it?
oh, in
I put it
okay.
in game design for now. I just thought it was the channel I already had open. And I was like, it'll be right there.
Okay, I'm in it. It's me. Yeah. Is this a camp? Is that what I'm
Yeah,
supposed to be seeing?
so basically I kind of did more so like do you guys remember when I did the first non-combat encounter where you guys were walking
Oh, we're
past
doing
a
that
camp,
thing.
Yeah, I do
but now
remember.
it's actually a combat encounter. But at the
Oh.
same time, I've also just made like a little bit of a adjustment to it being so that one, there's less goblins there, so it's not as doesn't take as long, and two, there's no orc. The orc is gone. There is the shaman. There's 3 goblins, and there is an adventure that you have to save. So. Once you guys are all in here and you got your characters in here, I want you guys to roll for initiative.
Yeah, I'm trying to add my. Let me just reload. Forgot about that. If it doesn't work, you just gotta reload it. Here we are.
Game design. This. Launch game.
All right, I'm in.
I like using the same one over and over again so people know which one I am.
Fair enough.
There we go.
What was that?
Wow.
Nothing.
Wow, Luigi.
Okay. I want you guys to now roll for
Nuh-uh.
initiative. I want you not
Okay.
me the legit.
Just a 1d20. No modifiers or anything.
One,
Your
the
initiative.
1d20
+2.
plus your yeah plus your initiative, so either +2 or +1.
Oh! Oh, I got hit in the stomach.
I think that's +1 from.
All right, while you
Or
do
that
that,
scale is
I'll
what?
roll initiative for the goblins and the
I always forget to
shamans.
name
And I'm just
my
going to use a
thing.
dice that I have
I'm
right
gonna
now.
just name my character so it's not just confusing.
And that will be for
Oh my god! Wait,
one.
I got a.
At least you rolled better than me, bruh.
Value for number 2.
You're higher than me for once.
Yeah,
hit
I'm always
stomach
go that.
today. How do I make everybody's like little pictures on the sides like smaller?
There's settings. Top right, hit the gear, and then go down to audio video.
Character? Audio
No,
video.
top right gear, then audio video, and then in audio video chat and video display, player video / avatar size.
Oh, there we go. Small. Names only. There we go.
All right. So this this goblin right here will be going first.
I also
And
noticed there's a dice option to enable 3D dice.
Yeah, that just
Yeah.
makes it roll a
um,
thing on the screen.
Putting that
and
on.
it will the goblin will be using its short bow. Each attack.
On who?
It is going to be using it on. I'm assuming that's Charles. That's on the right, right?
I'm Paladin. I'm the one with the pink.
Okay. Well, it's going to be using it on Charles. So I'm just going to real quick make sure that I've got everything so I can do this.
Spinny, spinny, spin.
I will actually do this one in here. The only reason I rolled initiative and my actual dice.
I gotta stop
was
doing that.
Just so you guys wouldn't see. But
Hey, Charles. Looks like you're checking out.
What the hell was that?
Yeah, dude. I don't know. The co-pilot. My bad.
Okay. Mike, was it Microsoft Copilot?
Yeah.
I'm assuming a 9 doesn't hit, does it?
No, it does not.
Okay, well, it is the shaman's turn next. And then it'll be your turn because you rolled a 16 for your initiative. So after the shamans, it'll be your turn. But
Who's the shaman on our?
The
this
top
one
one.
right here.
Hmm.
The one that has a fireball. Or, well, a torch, it looks like.
Nah, that's just holding a torch, yeah. So he will move over here. And let me just look at his stuff.
Damn, he's stepping in the fire.
Oh, don't worry about that. Here. He will try to, let me see what I need to roll for this one. Okay. He's gonna be casting fireball. I'm just trying to check the thing here. Where it is and what I need to roll for that. And find it. It's just 20-foot radius. Okay, so just make a dexterity saving throw.
Me?
Yes.
Uh, 20 plus my dex modifier, so that's a 2. Ugh!
It hits. Let me just make sure I gotta roll the damage.
Oh, where is that at?
Do that
Oh,
properly. B.
Oh, let me swap this.
It takes 8d6 fire damage. Oh, 8d6. Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, fireball is
dead.
gonna murder everybody. Also,
Yeah, I'm dead.
you're knocked down.
so
That's
In one
the
hit?
end of its that's the end
Well-
of its turn. The shaman's turn, I guess.
that's pretty much the end of the encounter. Fireball is an area of effect spell that hits everybody.
Yeah.
What level
That's
is he?
One of you
Did
has
you-
a higher health.
that's
On a-
correct.
on
a-
What?
On a successful
I-
saving throw, you take 13 damage. On a success.
I don't even think I could take that. That would kill me.
Yeah,
I
even
think
on
I
a
can take
success.
13 damage. I can take
Uh,
13, but at 26, I cannot.
Holy crap! He has a fireball already. That's insane.
The high level spell,
It's
yeah.
a shaman. A shaman has a fireball.
What the hell? Yeah, I'm level 2 only.
I'm only level 2, I only have 18 health.
I have
Do
12, I think.
Do I have to make a roll? For like to take a half a damage?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
all
you have to make a
to.
saving throw.
Yeah, everybody has to.
Yeah.
Fireball is an AoE
Yeah.
effect.
It's a 20 radius.
Wait, so I have to roll one, even though a successful roll would still make me lose.
You don't technically. You
13.
probably don't need to.
Oh,
Roll
26 damage for
doesn't
the
really
paladin as
matter.
well.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
it-
I'm sorry. I take that back. You do have to roll. You still have to roll. It does still matter.
Okay. Let me roll then. Out of 20?
+2, so
It's a D20 plus your Dex modifier plus proficiency if you're proficient in Dex saves.
Can I use counter
I
spell?
think-
Counter
plus
spell.
4. Yeah, I wouldn't. It
13.
would have been a 6 for me.
Nobody
So
has counter
I'm
spell.
down.
Counter spell. Boom.
What's the DC on
I
this?
didn't go well.
Fireball?
Wait,
12, I think.
roll again. Trying to find it. Where did I saw it before? Where'd it go?
What did we guys group up? What
I'm
were
looking
we all
at the
together?
I'm looking at the 5th edition. I'm looking at the 5th edition for the like the fireball spell. And I'm trying to find the where did it go?
The DC isn't going to be on the fireball spell. The DC is going to be on the caster.
Oh yeah, that's right. The DC. If I can still find it or not. 13.
13. Oh, I'm
Okay. Yeah.
Good. GG, good game.
That didn't go well. That didn't go well.
Yeah, the TPK is a little unfortunate. There is a mechanic, by the way, in D&D where, if you hit 0 hit points, you go unconscious. There's a mechanic where if the damage you take equals the sum total of your remaining hit points and your maximum hit points, or in other words, you would be at negative your maximum hit points. So, for example, if you have 8 hit points normally, and then you take 16 damage, you would be at -8. and 8 is the same as your total hit points. You just die. You don't
When
get to
you
make
die.
death saves. You are simply dead.
Quick reload.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Damn.
All right.
You're
I think-
summoning a little too
I
OP
think
there.
Useful-
though,
Yeah, fireball.
maybe
Useful
Maybe.
moment here. What happened there? And I don't mean like the fireball
That was so
TPK'd
quick.
everybody, like clearly. I mean, what happened in the process that allowed this outcome to occur?
Everybody grouped up. I don't know why. What was that?
In the design process, what happened?
Um.
I don't think he checked how much damage the fireball would do.
Yeah. That's a level 5 spell, I believe. Yeah, we're like level. I think there's.
The third level spell. You get at character level 5. What
Yeah.
could this design? What would have completely prevented this problem from occurring in the design process? How can we amend the process itself to circumvent this kind of issue?
Yeah. I
I
feel if
probably
you
paid
just
more
check
attention
what.
and reworked it.
Well, you could
Yeah,
check
if
the
you-
numbers, but what happens? What's an easy thing you can do in your design process that can catch these kinds of problems forever, always? There's something you can do that would just catch everything like this.
Normally they have like the classes difficulty.
Well,
Like
you
what?
can make it so that the initial concept of the design is more likely to be in line with what you're looking for. But what was the design process? You thought to use goblins, okay. Then you got a map and put it down, and then you put goblin tokens on there and made all the assets and placed them. And then that was it?
Then in,
No.
I think you put shaman afterwards.
Did you play test it?
I should have play tested it. I didn't think about doing that, I'll be honest.
This is very important. This happens every cohort, and it always catches me off guard. Because in my world, the idea that you playtest your work a bunch is not even in question. It's not even like, it doesn't even get mentioned. It's like if I ask you what you did today, and at some point, I'm like, and if you ask me what I did today, and at some point you realized, it would be, this is a silly analogy, but it's like if you asked me what I did today, and then tomorrow, I'm just like, man, I'm so hungry. Why does my stomach hurt so much? And you're like, did you eat food yesterday? Did you eat food to live?
How come?
Oh, I forgot. I forgot to eat food to live. Like, that's how sort of like basic playtesting is if you've been doing it a while. So it always catches me off guard. But it's also, I think, useful to just like communicate that that's how basic it needs to become for you. You should just playtest it.
Mhm.
Just
How come?
every single thing you make. Forever.
How come
and-
it's a 8d6? Was it critical hit or something?
Fireball's just an
No,
86.
that's, it was.
Isn't-
Yeah,
Fireball's
it was
just a-
86.
Fireball just hurts.
Yeah, damn. I didn't expect 8d6 on that.
Yeah, Fireball sucks. And so here's the thing. Not only should you playtest the thing you made, but if you playtest the thing you made and you realize that something isn't working, and then you change it, you've now made a new thing, and that new thing has not yet been playtested. And you should playtest everything you make. So when you make a change, you need to playtest that change. You'll see this will become even more important when you start working in Unreal more, because you'll also have to test things for whether they even work in the first place. But just because there's no blueprints or code that can break doesn't mean you shouldn't be playtesting. And this was a phenomenal example of why you should always playtest everything. Not only do you want to make sure everything makes sense, but also I noticed that when I asked for the DC for Fireball, I had to tell you the Fireball was an area of effect, and also you didn't know what the DC was or where to find it. So this is another good example where if you're playtesting an encounter on your own, what you would do is you would just take the role. You would just take the role of all of the players and the DM also. You would roll everybody's initiative, including the player's initiative. You would track it all just like normal. You just run the encounter exactly like you would run the encounter, except you play the players. And so you would go, okay, as this player, I'm gonna move forward and like attack this goblin or whatever. And then at some point, the shaman would go, and the shaman's gonna fireball. And the fireball, now you have to look up what fireball does, because the shaman's casting fireball. And go, okay, this is what fireball does. Oh, everybody has to make saving throws. Okay, I make this player's saving throw. Do they succeed? I don't know. I guess I should look up the DC. So by going through that process, you just catch all of the details that you would have missed if you hadn't gone through that process. It's like the fine mesh process of catching all those strays. Very, very important to do playtesting. Very important to do playtesting always. Not just for big balance things either, but for like, you know, when you sit down and take the role of the player, you're like, what can I do? Do I have options that are fun? Are they interesting? You know, you can kind of take it from that perspective too. So playtest often. Every single thing you make forever should be playtested. I mean, not playtesting is kind of like writing a book that you never read.
Right.
Well, that was quick. You want to do the other one?
Sorry, that was pretty quick. Just refine it more, and maybe if we have time some other time, we can run it again and really see what
No,
you've done.
actually, this is the thing: is I think you should just throw these encounters in the garbage. Here's why: I kind of want you to get used to making a thing and then just throwing it away. Like I want to get used to this idea of like I made this and then it didn't work and I threw it in the garbage. I kind of want you to go through the process of like learning to detach yourself from the work a little bit. I made the thing, it didn't work, we throw it in the garbage. I cannot tell you how frequently that happens. Like forever, for your entire career as a game designer, that will happen. So you need to get used to it, and you need to get used to doing it early and often. This doesn't work, this makes no sense. Delete. It's going to happen. It's going to happen a lot. So it's really good to be used to doing it so that A, you're always aware of the possibility that what you're doing might just not be working, and also not being discouraged by it because you're used to just whatever. Just be very used to it. I think it's very important. The amount of things that I have made that just didn't work is absurd. It's insane. But the thing is, I playtested them, went, this doesn't work, and then deleted it, and then made a new thing, and went, it works a little better. It doesn't work really, though. Let's do a third thing. This works better. Okay, it's still not there, but I feel like this is workable. I feel like I can tweak this into something good. It took me 4 tries, but and I still have to iterate a bunch, but we're gonna use this one. Like every good thing is built on a pile of garbage.
Right.
That's just inevitable. It's just inevitable. So I just want you to like get in the habit of not taking it personally or getting too attached to the work, because it's like, most of the work anybody produces is garbage. Most of it. Most of the work produced by all people is garbage. The only real difference is that you learn to identify it earlier and get better at just deleting something that's not working, just throwing out the thing that's not working. That's the only real difference. You will just continue to produce mostly garbage for the rest of your life. That's been my experience. That just keeps happening.
Damn, one shot.
So it's bad to throw out. So just prepare yourself to throw out stuff. Okay.
Yeah, it's a phrase often called "kill your darlings" or "kill your babies." Like you
Oh
have,
my lord, I've heard about that.
you have those ideas and you get really attached to them, and you just don't get attached. Don't get attached.
break up with it.
Yeah. I mean, some ideas are good, but more often than not, you're putting an idea out there or a quick sketch of a design, thinking like, do you guys think this could work for what we're trying to accomplish? What we're trying to build here, and most of the time, people will be like, no, but there might be a couple things in it that we can pull, like we can extract from it. And the problem is, if you get your ego caught up in that process, you don't want the parts that nobody wants to get thrown out. You want it all to be good, and it all hurts to lose. But if you divorce your ego from the work, then they say this will work and this will work, but everything else probably doesn't work. And you go, yeah, no, that makes sense. We can take this. This could work here, and I can take that and make it into a whole thing, no problem. Instead of like, no, it's my idea though. I want my idea in the game. You know what I mean? You don't want that. You don't want those little idea goblins ruining your game.
Oh, that's the illustration of the idea goblins. Is funny.
Whenever I hear about a game that
Half your
flops or
ideas,
doesn't
Emma.
do well, that tends to be what happens. Is it's all developers who, a studio closes and there's no job they have to protect anymore, and they always go like, yeah, there was one person who could just not let anything go. If it was their idea, it was going in the game.
Yeah,
And
that
those
happens a
people
lot.
always-
It's far from the only pitfall that a production team can encounter. It's far from the only thing that could ruin an otherwise good project, but it is something that when it happens, almost always ruins the project. Almost always. Yeah. And another thing you should really look out for is people who say, I'm the ideas guy. Nobody cares about your ideas. Ideas people are not valued at all.
Yes, I said I shouldn't say that one in the job interview. I'm a real
No.
ideas guy.
No, nobody likes the ideas guy. Nobody worth a damn in the industry likes an ideas guy. And I can illustrate that actually very, very easily with some of the stuff I've done today. I deleted it all.
I have a question, but what happens if you know, like, I'm an ideas type of guy, but like I'm okay with people like taking stuff from my
No,
stuff? And
let me tell you
Yeah.
let me tell you why ideas guys don't. Nobody cares about the ideas guy. Nobody cares about the idea. I can illustrate this very quickly. Who here has a game idea that they have that they'd like to make?
I do.
Is it
I do.
weird
Cool.
that I don't?
Do you, for someone who has a game idea, do you care about anybody else's game idea? Or do you want to make
No.
your game idea?
I would like to make my game
actually
idea. I know.
interested in
I have a
everybody
feeling
else.
over you're going with this.
So everybody
feeling-
thinks that.
Yeah.
No, I don't really.
So
care,
nobody
honestly.
cares. Anybody who has game ideas thinks that. They don't care.
Oh.
They don't care what your ideas are because they have their own ideas. Or they don't care what your idea is, but they'll do it because they're interested in doing the work. But they don't care what the idea is. Here's the difference. Here's the difference between an ideas guy and a designer who matters. If I said, you know what we should do? We should design a level like Dark Souls levels. What a fun idea. What a cool, fun idea. Great. Now what? Where do we go from there? That's.
So-
No
Do you see how-
idea.
Make
Do you see how unhelpful that is?
what? Just the
Yeah.
phrase "make our levels like Dark Souls."
Yeah, that's the idea. We should make Dark Souls levels.
Okay, then we can just look at Dark Souls. Why are you here?
Well, I mean that's fine because because the thing is, right? We might draw the Dark Souls might be a good thing to draw from for our level design. It might be. Maybe it is. But if I can't sit down and then design a Dark Souls level where everybody goes, yeah, that's how Dark Souls levels work, then I'm just an ideas guy. I'm not a designer. Do you know what I mean? I'm not producing work.
Mm-hmm.
But the Dark
Yeah,
Souls level that I did, or the Hollow Knight level that I did, that's me going, I can design levels like Hollow Knight. I can design levels like Dark Souls. Here's what they would look like. And then in the context of a game we're developing, we can say, do we like that direction for this game or not? Here's what it would be. Here's in concrete form, because here's an example of a thing I designed, what it would look like, and how I could design other levels like that. And the important thing is that does establish direction, but the fact that it establishes direction for the level design is not the thing about me that's valuable in that situation. The thing that's valuable about me in that situation is that I could design those levels. Like, I can actually execute that concept and make it work. That's the important thing. Execution is everything, and the idea, whatever. That's why nobody likes an ideas guy. It's not that ideas are always useless in isolation, and it's not that like throwing out ideas is a waste of time always. There's brainstorming processes where it's very useful. But whenever somebody is like, well, I'm the ideas guy, all that tells me is you don't know how to do the work. You need to be able to do the work.
Yeah.
Any random person can give you 50 ideas. ChatGPT can give you 50 ideas. Who cares? ChatGPT is like the ultimate ideas guy. Can give you endless lists of ideas on request immediately. And then you have to do all the actual work.
Yeah. Whenever I hear I'm the ideas guy, I don't know. I just kind of picture like, what was his face? Who was the guy who said he worked at Blizzard for 7 years? I just think that guy.
Oh, you mean the guy
Pirate
who
Software.
constantly
Pirate
mentioned
Software.
it
Yeah,
over and
that's
over?
what I imagine.
I worked at Blizzard for 7 years, and his coworkers going, he did nothing that entire time.
I worked with somebody once who was the most infuriating coworker I've ever had in my entire life. He was an ideas guy, and he was a self-proclaimed ideas guy. He's one of those people who goes around going, well, I'm kind of the ideas guy. What does that even mean? But I so many interactions with him were like, I was trying to figure out how to do monster balance, and he would come along and say things like, well, you really need to make sure that we account for walking time in terms of where the monsters are located on the map. Because it's a big MMO, big open map. You need to account for how long it takes to get there. And I'm like, great. But what I'm trying to do is quantify those values. Do you see how the hard part is quantifying that? Not in just the idea that you could quantify it.
Yeah.
Like, just having the thought that you could hypothetically quantify movement time in an MMO in terms of how that... But what does that mean? Okay, let's say it takes 4 minutes and 12 seconds to get to this monster camp. How do we measure that? We quantified the movement speed. What a fun idea to quantify the distance. Okay, but those monsters are worth 400 gold to kill, and these monsters are 6 minutes and 40 seconds away, and they're worth 520 gold to kill. Are those equivalent? How do you quantify time spent compared to gold value per kill on average? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm ass deep in spreadsheets trying to figure out how to actually compare these things in a quantifiable way. And having someone come along and be like, oh, you could quantify movement speed. It's like the most pointless thing ever. Right? Like, that's thoroughly
Our monsters
unhelpful.
Our monsters are kind of stiff looking. Have we tried animating them?
Yeah,
that would
that's
do it.
kind of how ideas guys sound. Yeah, it's
Thanks,
So-
Captain Obvious.
But what happens if it's an idea guy, but actually can do it? Is that something different, or?
no. It's just ideas just come from anywhere. It doesn't matter. Ideas can come from anywhere. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant where the ideas come
okay.
from. It just doesn't matter. Ideas can have a bit of an influence on things, but people who are good at their job can take an idea and then like make it work. You might need to tweak and shift and make sure that it's more focused or whatever. But generally speaking, take the idea and figure out how to make it actually work. That's the goal. It's easier said than done, but that's the goal. You want to make it work. Execution matters. The idea itself can come from anywhere. It's not that important. It's important that we have an idea, that we agree on an idea, because we need to know what we're making and what the direction is. But it's not impressive that somebody came up with an idea. Do you know what I mean? Because just anybody can just do that. It's very, very easy.
Yeah.
Anyway, that rant about ideas, guys, aside, the important thing here was always playtest, and then when you iterate, that means you've made a new thing, and every time you make a new thing, you need to playtest. Every time you make a new thing, playtest the new thing. Every time.
Okay.
You can get more economical with that, like tweak the monster and then just like rewind the encounter and then replay that turn with that monster. Tweak the monster, rewind, play just that turn, and that way the playtest and iteration cycle is much tighter and much faster. But then once you've done that to a few monsters in these like very narrow iteration cycles, very narrow playtest cycles, then go, okay, now that I've changed a whole bunch of stuff, I'm gonna play the whole encounter out again to see how those changes
But all in
impacted like
one
the
go,
larger,
right?
yeah, to see how the smaller changes impacted the larger encounter as a whole.
Okay.
Just because that, if you play the whole encounter start to finish every time you make any small tweak, you're gonna be there all day. It's very inefficient. Let's just do the next encounter. You said you had an encounter, right? Let's just do the next one.
Yeah. How do I send it? There's the question.
Yeah, you got to create an invite link to the Roll20 game.
Invite players, copy link, and just send it in the game design.
Yeah, that's fine. This is fucking headphones.
There we go. Did it work?
All good.
All good.
Yep. I can hear just fine. They just rattle every once in a while. Let's give them a good smack. They stop for a while. I'm sure it's
There we go.
sure it's a very good thing for the headphones, but that's fine.
If I lay down on my headphones, they make a screeching noise. So if one cup is compressed too much,
Ugh.
But your guys
Drive
up
me
here.
crazy.
we start here on the on
On
the
the top. On the top, where my arrow is. It doesn't matter where, just anywhere's up where the arrow is.
Okay,
Right,
hold on.
guys.
Let me.
Split up just in case any of them has fireball.
It's just a
Let me-
crab fireball.
Let me apply my. Let me make my brisk delta rune. Hold on. Okay. How do I get out of this? Oh, there's two of them. All right, let me know when everyone's
Yeah.
ready.
Let me just.
What was it? Wasn't it this one? Yeah, it was this one. Oh,
There we go. I don't know why it wasn't bringing it out for a second.
Paladin.
What
Alright,
the? Why are there two of
I'll-
me? There we go.
I'm gonna just do something real quick.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Where am I?
Or Wonderland.
All right, I guess we roll. Let's roll.
Nine. Not bad.
What's your initiative?
Oh, my
Yeah.
initiative.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
I think I don't have initiative for mine. I think it's -1.
Everyone ready? Roll
Yeah,
initiatives. Once you're
I've
ready.
got 7 for mine.
I got 9.
So, question: when it says GM roll, what does that mean?
GM role is a role that if you make it as a player,
Nobody else see?
only you and the DM will see it.
Okay.
Oh, wow, I should really do that.
Okay.
Not as abysmal as last time.
So let me just grab all the
I don't have
stats
initiative.
here.
No, I do not. Should have went with shield and sword. I would have 18 AC. Yeah.
Okay. It will be
Yeah, yeah, no.
let me grab my notes. Do any of you have any pluses on your initiatives?
I don't believe so.
I already used my initiative with the
I
plus
already
2,
know,
so
I could
mine's
tell.
7.
Like
Dex
anybody got a
bonus.
+2?
Nope. -1, so I have 11.
Dexterity? I think I have a +2 on dexterity. Actually.
It's initiative. Initiative is a dexterity roll.
Then that's 11,
11.
which does not change my spot, I don't believe.
Well, it shows a 9, so I was just asking if any of you guys had like any pluses on that.
I think mine should have been 11, actually. I think I forgot. Like, there should have been a +2 on there.
-1, so 11. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 enemies. Let's see how this goes.
Then
Mine should be fine. I play tested it.
Man, they're feeling very crappy.
you push it.
Fireball.
The opportunity they're at, dude.
I'm just trying to get the orders all correct here. Team, did you have? Oh yeah, you had a +2. Never mind. Give me a. Charles, did you have a +2 or anything or no?
Nope, -1.
Okay. All right, I think I got all of it. So it's going to be this crab's turn. It's gonna. It's 20 feet, so. And then it's this. That's all the crab can really do. So this one is going to move this way as well towards you guys. And then it's Charles' turn.
Sweet. I move forward on. I'll take a swing at him.
All right.
Should I use on? I think shield is shield of fate is a bonus action. I'll use that afterwards. I'm just gonna attack first. 1d20, plus something something, plus 2 I believe. No, plus 4. It's strength plus proficiency, right?
For what weapon?
Great axe. Yeah, it's plus
I
4.
believe. Yeah, it's strength. Plus your
Strength.
proficiency.
Yeah, so 1d20, boom, 10.
That is a miss.
Wow. Oh, I will use.
Dave's
I will.
turn.
Nope.
My turn.
I'm not done
Oh.
yet. I'm
You're
gonna
not
use
done?
my
Oh.
shield of fate.
You're under what?
I'm gonna use shield of fate.
Oh,
I have now plus 2 AC. It's a bonus action.
what?
And I'm done.
Damn. Okay. Now it's Dave's turn. Since you're done.
Put here 18.
Now my turn.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. I'm up here. I can move 30 feet, which is that's 30. So I'm good. Can I move and then attack?
Yeah, that's how it
Yes.
works.
Okay, I'm gonna move here. And then I'm going to attack this crab. I just pinged him. That one. With my fireball. I'm gonna firebolt him. What was
This
fire?
one. This one.
Hold on. Yes. Yeah, that one. That one.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm pulling up Firebolt. It's
It's 1d20 first attack roll.
1d20 for accuracy, and then attack is 1d10. Okay.
Are we doing diagonals just 5 feet? Just a question.
Yeah, you should just always do that's just how it
Okay.
works in 5th edition. Doing it more than that is, oh my god, it makes everything so complicated for no reason.
Do I put my modifier, because I think it's +2, on the accuracy roll or the damage roll?
Spell casting. So plus, I think that's your intelligence.
Your
Plus
your
2.
actual stat modifier goes on both. It's the proficiency bonus that only goes on the attack roll.
I don't think I have it. So it'd be +2 on the attack.
You
What's plus?
you are doing something you're proficient in, right?
I don't play this game. What my
Are you a wizard
proficient
that's
in?
not proficient in wizardry?
I am proficient in wizardry.
Yeah, if you're casting a wizard spell, a wizard is proficient in wizard spells.
Yeah, I would hope so. So,
So
well, I think that's cool.
Plus
So
2.
+4.
Yeah.
+2. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. And then my attack is only 1 + 2. Ooh.
An 18. An 18 does hit.
Okay, and then we just roll a 1d10 + 2. Oh my god. That's pathetic.
Damage is damage.
Yep.
Damage is damage. That's true.
Damage is damage.
I thought chorus fish is like part of the game.
Appropriate.
What the moving it from here to here is how many feet? Corey?
Whatever the where is it?
The giant crab.
That looks like 5 feet. Just whatever the actual movement difference is.
Yeah,
on the token.
30. So right about here
Well,
would be
this
30 feet.
one, like the top left of the token to the top left of the token. So the top left of the token moving 30 feet could go from here to here.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think this has any range moves, so
It can dash.
that is true. It does have dash.
Would that plus the 30 feet or is that 60? If it's 30, right?
Yeah, I think this is where it's just going to stop, and then it's Keaton's
Yeah.
turn.
Dash action is you use your movement, and if your movement is 30 feet, you go 30 feet. And if you take the dash action, you get a second use of your movement as your dash action. So another 30.
Oh.
It is Keaton's turn, though.
I'm going to attack this one right here, but I'm gonna move forward just slightly. Just one block, and I'm going to use the heavy crossbow. So, which that one can also count for my dexterity because I did check it before. Mm. 22.
Oh yeah, that does hit.
And it was a 1d10 for piercing.
You said Pearson, right?
Yes, so I'm assuming I have a disadvantage since it's going against a crab with a shell.
I don't think. Doesn't say anything about Pearson or anything, so I think it's just regular damage.
9.
Yeah, it's dead.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Okay. Probably 6 or 7.
Well, that is the end of my turn then.
It is now this crab's turn. It is going to run over to you and attack you.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Oh, it's attacking
That's
me?
funny. Yep.
Oh, damn. What do I do?
No, well, at this point, it's the crab's turn, so you. Yeah. How religious are you? You can pray.
Has a 3 hit.
There you go. You're safe.
Technically, if you took the shield spell, you could cast that, but you get to cast it after you know the result of the attack roll. So you'd only cast it if he would have hit you
Now,
otherwise.
Charles, this
My
one's
turn?
going to attack you.
Oh. You gotta miss. I hope.
Does a 6 hit?
Yep. Not even close.
It hits me for 6. It hits me for 6 damage.
No, it's attacking Charles.
Oh,
And
The one that went for you missed, so.
awesome.
Now it'll be this crab's turn, and it's also going to go for Charles.
I'm a
This
tank.
one. Does a 12 hit? Probably not.
I have 18 AC.
Do these things not have
Yeah.
attack modifiers?
Nope. +0 to hit. Now it would be Charles' turn.
All right, let's take a swing again.
At the same one?
15.
Yeah, that hits.
I'm gonna attack this person right here. Bing.
Alright.
Alright, sweet. I think it was 2d6 plus. Roll 2d6. I believe that's strength modifier. Do I add proficiency bonus with that or just strength?
I mean, if you're proficient, and
You don't add
if you
proficiency on
already did that,
damage.
you don't know.
Okay, just
You don't add
just strength.
proficiency.
Yeah, not on damage. On attacks, yes. On damage, no.
7.
Yeah, it died.
Let's go. Oh,
Gotta be a 7.
Uh,
if he didn't die, I would have smite him. I don't think I have
it's
new bonus.
Charles. No, your turn, Dave.
Okay. My turn. I'm gonna get away from this crab. I'm gonna move another. What's the range of 5? So if I move and then if I dash and then move again or something like that, or the way you go 60, I can't attack.
Correct.
After
If
that?
you dash, it uses your action to dash, which is the same resource you would use to make an attack.
All right, I'm moving away from that crab, going right
Alright,
here,
I'm rolling for attack of opportunity.
and no, I'm not doing that. And then I'm going to. Oh, no, now I'm out of range. Now I'm out of range.
No, when
you
you
can't
did
even
you
attack.
disengage? Did you disengage, by the way? Because if you didn't, I'm rolling for attack of opportunity. for
I'm
crab.
not. I have not disengaged. I have not disengaged. Okay, no, actually, no. I haven't. Firebolt is 60 feet. Firebolt is 60 feet. I'm gonna attack that big crab. The edge of it is 55 feet away.
You were within 5 feet of this little crab up here, so I get to roll attack of opportunity because you ran away.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Let me do that first.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Nat 20.
Oh my god.
Wait, how did you get there so far? Isn't it our movement is 30 feet only?
Yeah, I think he went an extra 5 feet.
Um.
Oh no, that's right.
Oh. No, he was about. Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, now this is the weird thing. It says 1d1 dice.
Okay, well then it does 2d1,
Bludgeoning and damage.
which will
2d1.
always be 2 damage.
Wow.
So I take 2 damage.
That's weird. That's not an official D&D monster then? Official D&D monsters don't do 1d1. They just do 1.
What is it called?
It's just called crab. Literally just called crab.
That seems wrong.
It's
Like
tiny
there's a
beast.
melee attacks that do 1. Oh, they do. It does. It just says 1 bludgeoning damage. It just says 1. It doesn't say 1d1.
Damn.
Just 1. But a crit would be 2. It's still double. It's 2.
All right, now you can go, Dave.
Okay. Wait. Okay. Yeah. So I moved, and I'm gonna fireball that same crab. I'm gonna slaughter him. It's 35 feet away. That hits. Firebolt again.
It's just like start screaming like, "You motherfucker! How dare you do 2 damage to me?"
Oh, does that hit?
That's a miss.
Yeah, I mean, you're just using
What?
can't
You
you
told me.
no spell slots.
Crabs are tiny. They're little things. They're hard to hit.
I guess
Look at him.
so. I'll use
He's probably
frost
scuttling
easier.
around. He's a tiny little crab in that 5-foot square. He's probably scuttling around. Nice.
Yeah.
He's doing that one dance right now. What is it?
Crab dance.
Crab dance.
It's the giant crab's turn, and it's gonna move over here
Oh god.
and attack you, Keaton.
Fucking good. That thing's anything close to me.
I get extra.
That's
My
a
turn?
14 hit.
What do we? Not my turn.
Yes.
All right. That is 1d6 plus 1 bludgeoning damage. Five damage plus your grappled. He
Okay.
says the target is grappled. Escape DC 11.
What would I have to roll to escape?
That's gonna
1d10.
it's an athletics check on your turn. It's gonna cost you an action if you want to do that. Grapple just reduces your speed to 0. Just means you can't move.
You can still attack, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just need
Alright.
to go again.
You don't need to move, right?
Yeah, I don't think I need to move.
Now it's Keaton's turn.
I'm gonna use my short sword to try to
Alright.
attack it. Three. Damn. Maybe I would
Yeah.
have had better luck with trying to do an athletics check.
Don't you have expertise?
Not in with the short sword. I have it in archery, not in the short sword though. Yeah. Oh, then yeah.
All right.
there's
It's. Are you done your turn or?
Yeah.
This crab's turn then. Charles, get ready to get damaged, boy.
It's gonna miss.
Does a 2 hit?
Absolutely not. Not even close. Alright.
Oh, dang it. My
Um,
AC is 1.8. Just barely hits.
That's funny. I think I'd be very. I think I'd be more impressed if there was an AC that was that.
Is it my turn?
No, this crab's turn, I believe. Yeah, it is.
It's gonna chase.
Yeah,
Dave.
it's gonna chase Dave.
Dude, screw that little
Well,
guy.
now it's your turn.
Mine?
No, Charles.
God damn.
Oh.
Nope. And the miss.
Now it's your turn, Dave. Yeah, well,
Okay.
unless Charles does something else.
I'm going to use, just to switch it up, I'm going to use Acid Splash. Let me look at the rules for Acid Splash, if I remember correctly.
The image is like, haha, you're in my radius. Get splashed.
All right. So it'd be 1d20 plus 2. It's a, what is it? The target must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 1d6 acid damage. Okay, So I think I roll a 1d20. I don't think I have any plus. I think I have my regular just +2 for this.
No, don't I have to roll the 1d20?
No, I roll it. No.
Is it a spell attack or does the target make a saving throw?
You hurl a bowl of acid, choose one creature you can see within range, or choose two creatures you can see within range that are within 5 feet of each other. A target must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 1d6 acid damage.
The target makes
Okay,
a
so I
dexterity
think
saving throw.
yeah, you're right. Is it in range? What is the range? 6 feet? Oh yeah, that clears. That'll
Yeah,
work.
2. It rolled a 2. So how much damage is that?
I got to roll a 1d6. 1d6. I don't think I get pluses on that guy. Oh my god.
Well, I killed him anyway.
He had 1 health, or was he already damaged?
Yeah, that was the one that you already damaged.
Oh goody.
All right, it's giant crab time. It's going to take its other hand and attack you, Charles.
Good luck.
Ooh, that is going to be plus.
You miss?
Yeah, no, it's an 8.
Yep.
That just leaves the small crab's turn now. And that's going to attack you, of course, since you're right beside it.
It's gonna miss again. It's okay. I hope.
I thought it was going to be my turn next for that. After the big crab, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, no, wait, fuck. It's Keaton's turn.
I was so confused. I was like, wait a minute.
Never mind. Don't look at that roll. That 12 does not exist. Keaton, make an athletics check or whatever.
I'm gonna try to attack it
Whatever
again with
you
the
wanna
short sword
do.
because might as well at least try. The old sub damage.
Oh, that is a mitt. I'm just kidding. That is a hit.
I need
Let's go.
Roll for damage.
Nice.
bastard trying to make me think otherwise. I think my strength is on right, yeah. So 3. I'll do 3 damage to it.
All right. Now it's little crab.
Miss. Oh wait, that's that's the damage.
Does a 7 hit you, Charles?
No.
I already knew that. I was just asking for clarity.
Alright. This is my turn.
Yes.
Oops. D20. Holy crap.
You can't hit this tiny crab. It's just moving around too much.
That's a nat one. Dude.
Dave.
Me? Okay.
Yep.
Well, acid splash does pretty low damage. I'm glad I hit that, but I don't want to do that again. So I'm gonna move closer. I can move here. I'm gonna move here. I think that's within that.
All right.
And I'm gonna beam the big crab for my classic good old firebolt. Why not? Ooh,
Oh yeah,
do I
that
hit that?
hits.
I hit
Yeah,
that?
that hits.
Okay. 7.
7 damage. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yepper.
don't add your proficiency. You don't add your I totally forgot. You don't add your dexterity or your intelligence modifier to spells. It's a D10. Most
I
attacks
thought
at this
so.
level are like a D8 or a D6 plus the modifier. Spells are higher dice, but you don't have the modifier, so you get the D10 instead, but you don't get to add the
I
+2.
thought so.
So
I
just
thought
5
so.
damage?
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Melee
make- yeah,
attacks and
make it
ranged
5.
attacks you do, but spell attacks you don't. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just make it 5.
All right. Giant crab's turn. Charles again. Actually,
Wait.
no,
wait.
again.
You mother. Goddamn. Okay.
There he got intimidated by me.
Does a 20 hit?
I would think so.
Are you targeting me or are you targeting Keaton?
Keaton.
He's targeting me. Yes, of course that is.
All right.
No. 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 Oh no. Oh no.
Five damage. Bludgeon in, by the way.
Yeah, I'm still up, but ah.
Now Keaton's your turn.
Let me try to
Question, if the
attack
cra-
again with
if
this
the
short
crab
sword.
is grappled someone, can it move with them or no? Or does that make it just too complicated?
I don't remember. There is a rule for this. In 5th edition. Ooh, it's been a while since I've had to deal with that situation. I think it can move at half speed. And then it
Okay.
drags the grappled person with them. That's vaguely right. That's close enough. Just use that. I don't remember if that's
Okay.
actually right, but for now, I
just
think
drag
that's
it. Just yourself.
yeah. So the crab can now move 15. Its move speed is essentially 15 instead of 30, and then you just move with it.
Man, with 20, did you roll the hit or like get out of the grapple?
I rolled to attack. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that definitely hits. So roll
6.
6. All right. Tiny crab's turn. The unhittable crab. Does a 6 hit you, Charles?
Absolutely not. Come on, let me hit this person. Nope, I'm not even gonna let modifier.
This crab's gonna take down the whole party one damage at a time.
The singular crab has the power.
He can't hit me. I can't hit him. I'm okay.
Charles, it's your turn.
Again?
Oh,
I
wait.
rolled him.
That would be Dave's.
Never mind. Be Dave.
Okay.
Brain had a brain
This
fart. for a
big,
second.
this big. I gotta save the day here. You guys are not gonna believe what I'm gonna do against that crab. I'm gonna firebolt it,
Don't you have spell slots?
dude. I think firebolt's my strongest one. Like, what do I have other than firebolt?
You should have
Ray of
first level and
Frost?
second level, don't you?
What?
No, only
should
first
have-
level spells.
First level spell? Oh.
Yeah, I
You'd have,
picked
like,
firebolts like
Magic missile or something.
Firebolt-
If you took
How many
that.
How many times?
I don't think I did.
How many times can you use this spell?
Firebolt
I-
is not limited.
It's a cantrip. It's a cantrip. Firebolt. So is Acid Splash as well. But Ray of Frost actually is a spell, and I'm gonna use that one. Let me look it up. Frost. Ray of Frost.
That's also a
I should have had
cantrip.
these up.
That's a cantrip. I'm like, that's
I don't think I took it as a cantrip though.
it's
still
that's
counts
you don't
as
have
cantrip.
you don't have a choice.
Still
Okay.
cantrip.
Well, I'm looking at it now. It only does 1d8, so I have an opportunity for higher damage with my fire anyway. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go real original here and
hmm
roll my full reliable here.
Sounds
Fuck,
good.
Misty
Oh
actually
my
used a
Oh,
different-
it's
Holy
double
shit.
damage! Double damage!
Let's go.
Yeah, you roll 2d10.
Holy cow!
The dice are doubled, so 2d10 instead of 1d10.
That was insane.
10, 10,
So,
10.
so
20,
slash
20.
roll 2d10 then. 2d10.
Mhm.
Well,
13.
whatever. That's still good.
Ooh.
That's
That's
big
good, that's
damage.
good.
Wood. That's big damage.
Dude, Wizard comes in clutch like always.
Yep.
Like always.
All right. Giant crab's turn.
Let me go.
Charles, get ready.
It's gonna miss.
Oh my lord. 5.
Yeah, it's
With a
missed.
5 hit.
It's a miss. Not even close.
Dean.
Alright, I'm gonna attack again. Damn it.
Yeah, no.
Small crab's turn.
Yep.
Just gonna have mine ready. 1d20.
Small crab, the untouchable.
Does a 12 hit.
Nope.
How long does your shield thing last, by the way?
Think it's 8. Let's see.
Isn't Shield of Faith like
Shield.
10 minutes?
Yeah. So I don't know how
And
many that in
everything's
turn.
6 seconds. So every turn was like 6 seconds. So I
Oh.
think it's still active.
Yep.
If it's 1 minute, it lasts 10
second one,
rounds. If it's 10 minutes, it lasts 100 rounds.
Yeah.
I'm good.
It's
No
also
1d20.
concentration, so you do have to make Constitution saving throws if you get hit.
Yeah.
I have not been hit. Let's go.
Right.
Alright, I'm gonna attack the big crab. Let's go. I'm gonna go for big crab. I need a change of enemy. Let's see. Plus
Oh.
4. Yeah, it's a hit. Alright, finally. Sweet. Get to
It's
attack.
insane. The moment you decide to change which one to attack, it allows you to hit. But the moment when you're trying to attack the small one, he's like, nope.
This is operant
Dude,
conditioning again. Now you're kind of tempted to like keep changing targets.
Roll 2d6 plus 2.
I can't
10.
change targets.
Yeah, it's dead. It died.
Let's go.
I can change targets.
Right.
Now
If
you
it
just
is
have that tiny little crab.
My arch enemy.
Are you killing the
Dave,
crabs or are you just
Baker.
moving them off screen somewhere?
No, I delete them. I move them off screen just to get them out of the way for a sec. Because if I
Okay.
click
That's good.
on the map, it just puts a giant lock on it because I had to lock it.
Kill this crab, man. This arch enemy.
I'm gonna do some big damage with I'm gonna do some big damage like last time with my I wonder what I'll use. This is such an interesting decision.
This one crab is just gonna keep getting out of it.
God. I swear to God.
15.
Yeah, that
No.
hits.
Thank God.
God.
Big damage. Big damage.
Well, I think it. Okay. I guess technically
What?
it can
No, what?
survive.
The cans.
Nine.
Yeah, no, it died.
No.
Yes!
It only had 6 health, bro.
Step on him and start doing
All right.
dancing time.
All right. All right. We had fun with
Right.
the encounter. Now it's time for the really unfun part where we talk about all the things wrong with the encounter. We need to dissect. We need to
Yep.
properly diagnose, and we need to suggest improvements. So, who wants to kick that off?
Yeah, for Keaton. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, don't kill everybody immediately.
We've
the
already
players-
gone over that one.
When everybody is dead, there are no interesting decisions to make. There are none.
We've already gone over that one.
Yeah, let's do this one.
I mean, we kind of too easy. Then again, I mean, it is crabs.
That crab was.
I feel like instead of just regular crabs, you could like made them like, I don't know, undead crabs, where they I don't know. I don't know if there's anything like that in D&D Beyond.
I have no idea. I didn't even check.
Yeah. Would have been like, you know.
I gotta search that up now.
Well, no, this is a great example where like it doesn't matter, right? The theme is irrelevant. We just want to talk about how the gameplay played out, what happened, how it felt.
Good.
Did it? Did it feel good?
No.
I don't
Don't-
think you guys would have liked to fight the undead crab here.
Don't
It's called a dreadnought crab.
can't don't
Yeah,
say
keep
don't
that
say
away
it
from
felt
me.
good if it doesn't feel good. This is the thing. This is an important thing. If it doesn't, if there's something wrong, if the experience is lacking in some capacity, gotta call it out because that's how we're gonna diagnose the problems.
You guys want to know its hit points? The dreadnought crab. 248.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it wasn't really. Yeah, it wasn't really.
Yeah, this is what I would call I have this concept that I've used before that has been relevant several times, where one of the ways that you can think about the game experience, one of the ways, this is not sufficient by itself, but you have like a 50, you have like the halfway point, and then you have 0 to 100. On a scale of 0 to 100, where 0 is nothing, how intensely did this make you? How intense was your experience in this combat?
Solid 2.5. It was I like the setting and the enemies, but
We
it
don't-
wasn't very intense.
Yeah, we don't need a bunch of numbers. We just know that it's somewhere down here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we probably want it somewhere. We don't always want it. Like, it's not always like higher is better. But you generally want there to be some, generally like above that halfway point is probably a good rule of thumb, right? Somewhere above that. The reason you don't want it to be super high all the time is because if you have a lot of combats in a row, that can become very like emotionally exhausting to just have like super intense all the time. You want some like ebb and flow to that. But generally speaking, you want it higher as a good rule of thumb, above that halfway point. So let's diagnose that. Why is it that low on that scale?
I did not feel there was a whole lot of variety in what we were doing. The crab enemies were, I like little small dudes that play off the bigger enemy. Okay, that sounded weird. I like small enemies that play off the big enemy. But the big enemy cannot just be the small enemy, but bigger, if you know what I mean. It just
Yeah, there was a confounding mechanic in the crab that had the grapple, but then like the result of the
damage.
grapple was I'm just gonna hit it anyway.
yeah,
There was
and
more
maybe I I could be blamed for the lack of excitement a little bit. I did do ranged a lot of the time, which in most games, if there's a melee option, range tends to be the less interesting route. That's not your fault. But I personally had I didn't take any damage. I don't think. I had almost nothing to do.
You got crit by that crab.
I got crit by a crab. Really? I thought I missed. I thought he missed.
No, he crit.
No.
He did
No, he
double
hit you.
damage. It was 2. So here's the thing.
Oh,
this
right,
is
yeah.
important.
I remember.
This is quite important because somebody at the beginning said it was too easy, and I wanna like that's closer to a good analysis, to a good description. The issue with something like it's too easy is it's not merely a matter of making things more difficult. The issue really is things like the crab does a lot of damage would be an impetus to act, but you then want to give the players something to do, right? Some way to deal with that. So this is why I like to use 5th edition, because the 5th edition combat system is almost notoriously at this point kind of lacking. As you can see, if you just take some guys and put them on the map, it tends to turn into I roll to hit, it rolls to hit, I roll to hit, it rolls to hit, I roll to hit, it rolls to hit. And you just have this like back and forth. Now we saw with Dave's encounter, the same kind of thing played out. The only difference was that damage was higher, and so there was a bit of intensity behind that. But there still wasn't a lot of variety in player decision making, right? But we did have more intensity thanks to the higher numbers. So that does help.
Well, my encounter, my plant mushroom guy.
Yes. Because people were like worried about dying, right? They were taking enough damage that they were worried about dying, so there was some degree of emotional intensity that came from that. So that's good. But we also want emotional intensity to come from player decision. We want that sense that they can affect the outcome, right? If we make it dangerous, it's very important now to make players go, okay, it's dangerous, but here are the things that I can do to get out of this safely, to give that sense that they're in control. If they just play it well, they're okay. You know what I mean? So balance is part of that. We definitely want to consider the damage that the enemies are doing and the damage that they're taking. Definitely important. But the thing about 5th edition that's really important, that's really interesting for us, for our purposes, is that the 5th edition combat is quite lackluster in the sense that if you give somebody a simple encounter, especially at low levels, that scale of 0 to 100 on how intense the emotions feel, if you just put guys with guys and they all just have attacks, almost any situation, you're going to be close to a 0 in 5th edition combat because there's just not a whole lot to do. There's just not a whole lot of variety that the system itself adds to the gameplay. So that's awesome for our purposes here at InFocus, because what that lets us do is demand, the system now demands that you design encounters, right? That the encounter itself has a bunch of cool stuff going on. Because the system doesn't really handle it. That's super lame if you're trying to play D&D and you just want to like get some monsters out of the monster manual and make a quick encounter, and the encounter's like at least okay, because now you have to design everything from scratch yourself, and it's a huge pain. But if you're trying to learn how to be a game designer, that's exactly the situation we want. It forces you now. So, you can't rely on the system itself to really do any heavy lifting here. So you can't say things like, oh, well, it's like fun to hit stuff. It is kind of fun to hit stuff. But you know what's way more fun than hitting stuff? Killing things before they kill you barely. Like, that's way more intense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, think back to our Scorpion encounter. Remember when we did the Scorpion encounter and we gave it wings and we never rethemed it to make it make actual sense? But the mechanics worked, right? We had the Scorpion had the wings, and you had to like coordinate which wing you're attacking, and you timed when the Scorpion would come down, and you could decide whether or not you wanted to like wait for the Scorpion to come down or try to like shoot it instead of trying to take the wings out because it recharged on its turn. And there was stuff going on, right? And there is variety not just in what you're being presented, but in the decisions that you're making.
Okay.
So that's what we want to drive toward in these D&D encounters, is we're trying to create those kinds of interesting encounters. That isn't necessarily to say that all encounters should be super complex all the time. That's not the case at all. Or that complex encounters are inherently better. Just that's sort of the design exercise that's most valuable for us. And so to make this really concrete, let's say, when was the encounter at its best? When was the encounter at its most interesting, would you say? Anybody?
When they grab Kitten.
Yeah.
I was about
Okay.
to say that. I was about to say when he grabbed
So
me.
something different happened, and there was uncertainty, right? You didn't know what was going to happen. So what if we took that and we're like, okay, we can push that a little bit further. Let's say while you
started going towards the
grabbed.
water.
Okay,
started
that's an
going through the
idea.
water?
You have to be very careful about that though, because that's an interesting idea, because that ramps up the danger. But if you play that a little bit further, you get to the point of, what if he doesn't escape the grapple by the time the crab
Yeah.
gets to the water? Now the combat ends and he just drowns.
That is true.
And now it becomes like, you better roll. There's a lot of intensity, because if he doesn't roll well for a couple rounds, he'll just die. But that's like too much danger. It's too much danger because it's like too likely, just probabilistically, that he'll just lose, and there's nothing he can really do about it. But we can take the same idea and just remove that element by saying, well, every time, like at the start of his turn, as long as he's grappled by the crab by that ability, at the start of his turn, he just takes 1d4 damage. Takes a d4.
Okay.
Because he can still try to, and now when it's his turn, he takes a d4, and he has to try, he can decide whether he wants to escape or attack. Do you want to escape and try to stop? You could fail the roll, and then you get nothing. Or you could try to attack and get something. I mean, you could still miss, but try to make an attack and get some damage off maybe. But if you fail but then you'll still be grappled next turn, right? Take another d4. So there's something else. Now the grapple kind of changes the dynamic of the fight. Because now let's do a quick sort of mind mappy playtest of that. Let's say I'm running the encounter and the four of you are playing. And the map looks very similar, but somebody gets grappled and starts taking damage. Okay? Keaton is grappled and is taking damage every round. But now it's Tristan's turn. Keaton just got grappled and he's taking a d4 every round. But it's your turn now. What do you want to do?
Like, try to cut off the arm.
I could try to attack the arm or
Okay.
the creature.
So
Help.
here's the thing. Letting you cut off the arm is not super in line with the D&D system. It doesn't do limb damage very easily, but we can take that idea and we can go, okay. The players immediately are thinking, well, how are the players thinking? The first thing players think is, can I save him? Can I get him out of that? Can I do something? Right? And then, and if we just make it so that, yes, you can try to pry, maybe you can just like try to pry the pincers open, and that's an athletics check, right? Now it's an athletics check, which means we probably want the person with the highest strength to do it. Because it's athletics. Or if somebody's proficient in athletics, do that.
I think I'm
So,
proficient in athletics.
That'll be
So
me.
we have-
I could do it.
So we now have that situation. So now we're trying to figure out like who should do the athletics check. So now we've taken the grapple and we've started to push it to be something a little bit more interesting. But there's something, we're not just going to auto kill you because it goes towards the water, but it was the right idea in that we definitely want to ramp up the intensity. But we want to ramp up the intensity in a way that lets players do things about that intensity. How do they handle that? The question you want to ask yourself there is like, okay, they can grapple a player. Cool. That was the interesting part. How can the players handle that? Your first thought was cut off the arm, but what if we gave the players something that they could do about it? So that they don't go, I guess I cut off the arm. It becomes, you can try to pry open its pincers with an athletics check, but you might fail it, and it costs your action. So now there's a decision to be made. Do you go for damage, or do you try to pull open the pincer? And someone might decide, well, I'm going to let the person with higher athletics do that. on their turn, so I'm just going to attack it. And then they can try to pry open the pincers. Then they get free. Let's say the crab, it succeeds and you're free now. Now you're worried about the pincer. So people might like, okay, I'm worried about the pincer. What do I do now? I can stay out of melee range of it. Oh, but the crab has 30 feet of movement, so people are staying out of melee range. That's a problem. Oh, but wait, because we're not actually playing the encounter, we're just playtesting it, which means we're in the process of designing it. So, oh, you know what? The crab has 20 feet of movement. So you can kite it. So we just play out this this process of what can the player do about this, right? We had this idea of like we can get the crab has grapple. That was like kind of interesting thing. The idea of pulling it to the water. Well, there's a problem with that, but we do want to up the intensity. So can we find a way to up the intensity that doesn't involve you maybe just insta-dying? Well, we can just give you damage. We just give you damage. It has kind of the same effect of this ramping. Plus, if you go down from that damage, the crab can just release you because you're dead and then you're unconscious. And that's like something players can do something about too, right? So there's always an avenue that the players can take. What do you think? Do you think, based on that new concept, do you think our design has gone up, down, or stayed the same?
Gone up.
Good, that's where we want it to go. So that's not only like a suggested change that I would make, and when you get into one of the advantages that we have in this term is that I'm very slowly kind of trying to explain the thought process behind suggestions that I make. Once you hit term 2 and 3, when you start working on your games proper, there's going to be a lot more like, I see a problem here, I would do like this and this to fix that. There's going to be a lot more, just like these are the suggestions, this is the feedback you're getting. So I'm trying to lay the groundwork for you understanding where that feedback is coming from and why it works, whereas other things don't work. Because some things will work better and some things will not work better or work worse. So understanding kind of what the relationship there is and why one thing works versus one thing not working is an important foundation, even though it's very verbose. So those are the kinds of things that I would do with this encounter. The last thing I would do is I would probably start the large crab further up with more smaller crabs in the way, so that there's something to do with the smaller crabs. But also I would make the crabs have 1 hit point, so they just die as soon as they're hit. They just get hit and die. I would give the main crab only enough hit points such that it'll really do like 1 round of grapple. It has like 2 or 3 rounds to grapple and do some damage. Because remember, players don't know the crab's hit points. So if it has enough hit points to do the grapple and the damage starts ticking, like imagine you're grappled by the crab. And you're taking a d4 damage at the start of each of your rounds. You don't have that much damage. You don't have that much health. You're taking a couple damage per round. And you don't know how long the crab is going to be alive for. So there's some intensity to that because you're taking some damage. You don't know why. Maybe the crab is still making attacks with its other claw too, right? It's not like it's sitting there uselessly. So there's some intensity there. And then you only need to give the crab enough health that intensity can kind of hit, and then it dies. Right? Because at that point, the point of the encounter is to get the intensity out of the grapple and then just end the encounter. So we want to reduce the amount of, for example, in the combat as it was, there were a couple rounds after it became very clear that the fight was won, essentially. But we just had to do the cleanup, right? And then miss. Okay, finally we hit the crab. The combat can end. And those last few rounds can do so much to mar the overall experience of the fight because it's become so anticlimactic, right? Because you're just missing while you're trying to hit this stupid last little crab. So we want to make sure that the enemies have enough health, or low enough health actually, that we get that intensity that we want, but then the combat ends. The combat ends once we've achieved that. It just comes to a satisfying conclusion. The crab is doing some damage. Maybe we want to tweak that damage up so that players are taking more damage over time, or adding a completely different mechanic if you want it to be a more intense combat. On Friday, in game mechanics, we're going to talk a lot more about how to do this in a very complex way. We're going to talk about a model called intensity curves that helps you map what the sort of pacing of a combat should look like, and help to identify an objective with the gameplay experience for the combat. Then we're going to do more combats. We're going to design more combats from that context.
All right.
Okay.
If we finish those papers that we're writing on the mechanic or feature of our choice, do we wait or do we just DM that to you?
You can wait. Won't really matter. Up to you. Do whatever you want.
Do you want me to do my
Okay.
combat encounter on Friday then, or just it's okay?
Yeah, we can do the last one. We only had after that one was done, we only had about 20 minutes, so I figured we'd just do some recap or some
Alright, no worries.
post-mortem.
Um,
And
hypothesis.
how many words did you want? At least 2,500.
Somewhere around 3,000, 4,000 probably is what you'd expect. Depends on the size of the feature, but that's probably a reasonable expectation. Basically, I'm just trying to make it clear that it's like
go over like 2,000, just like 2,000, or around there. Is that okay as well, or?
I guess it depends how in depth you go.
it depends. It
could
depends on what
write-
you're describing, but if you give me 2,000 words and it needed to be 3,000, that's not going to be great.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to communicate something to somebody, and I feel like I've just spent the last few weeks proving that this is true. When I'm trying to communicate something to somebody, especially something complicated, I pretty much always err on the side of over-explaining compared to under-explaining.
Yes, thank you. It's helpful. I don't know if you're talking about us. It is.
Yeah, no, I just that's just a general sort of it's just a sort of a general philosophy of approach of just like I would rather over explain and get annoying sometimes of like I'm explaining things again. People already understand this and I'm explaining it again, whatever. I'd rather risk that than assume that something is understood and miss it. And I still miss it. I could have been, for example, much more explicit about how much playtesting I would actually expect a decent design to have. A lot, like a lot. So it's still even with the over-explaining philosophy, things still fall through the cracks. I always, so if you're like, I don't want to write a bunch, I'm trying to negotiate down to 2,000. If you're writing, if you give me 2,000 words and there's a whole bunch of components of a feature that are just like not part of what you've written, that's the risk you run. But better to over-explain than under-explain.
Because what I'm doing is the UI of like the first-person shooter of Titanfall. When you're in like a competitive
Ooh.
match.
I'm
Yes.
doing
That's-
Minecraft. And
Right? That's it.
UI is going to be a
50,000.
tricky way to is going to be tricky. I would pick a gameplay system because a UI is going to be like
Are
I
you
said.
talking
I
about
mean,
me? With Minecraft?
no, for Titanfall. Yeah, like you don't even know what a UX flow is. I could explain it to you very quickly, but I doubt I could really convey it in 2 minutes very effectively.
But
And-
3,000.
And that would be a UX flow would be a very important component in a UI. Okay, what I would do instead is I would take a feature of Titanfall that's interesting and explain how it works in gameplay. It'll be a better exercise too if you try to figure out the gameplay. it's very easy. One of the things, a common theme that's going to run through all of term 1 is me pushing back against you guys doing things that feel good, because doing the things that feel good aren't the things that result in the best, fastest growth. So, for example, it's really easy for people to get hung up on like, what's the story of this thing? And I'm constantly like, I don't care about the story. It's not because I think story isn't important in video games or in D&D or in any game. It is, but it's kind of easy because it's like the surface level thing. It's sort of the easy thing to find details about. And I want to force you to find details in a more difficult context rather than sort of allow the ease of, let's talk about some story details. We will probably do some storytelling, but not very much, and probably mostly in term 2, only as it relates to the games that you're making. I'm a published writer, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I can do story.
You did not. What's your what do you have?
I did some short stories. Never any novelization or anything like that, but some short stories.
Oh, I
see
couldn't find it. I couldn't find your work on Amazon or something.
Probably not. Oh no, I'd never published on Amazon. I published locally in Florida.
Oh yeah, I'm probably not gonna find it there then.
And
Well, I'm
and
not
I
gonna find it.
never digitized any of it really. I never put it online. So this would have been, I mean, I did that work like 10 or 15 years ago. So, but point is, we will do some story stuff, but it's not that I'm not interested in story, don't care about story. I'm a writer. I can do story. But it's too easy. It's too easy. I'm never going to let anybody, we're never going to get away with anything too easy. We're never going to do anything too easy. It's going to be horrible, grueling. Sit there and be confused and your brain hurts because you don't, it's what is going on even is where we're going to sit most of the time. It's horrible, but the key is to get used to sitting in that place, because if you get used to sitting in that space, then good. Then you can probably actually be a game designer, because that's like a lot of what your job, like 40 to 80% of your job, depending on the day, is just sitting down and going, I don't know how to make this work. I have no idea. And then just like figuring it out. You just kind of have to figure it out from there. So that's what we're doing. Trial by fire. We didn't really ease in. But yeah, we'll do the last combat encounter on Friday. We'll also do somebody can bring a game that they want to play, and we'll do that for game history of games, and we'll talk about combat curves and the combat curve framework for D&D, and then design more combat encounters.
See you guys later.
Bye bye. See you
Ciao, ciao.
Friday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, Friday.